Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo. Today we're going to be talking about this new pet system that they put into Stable Branch for PC. And they have a lot of kinks that they forgot to sew up with this. I also live streamed this for about an hour and a half yesterday as well, because there was a lot of shit that they added. But the other thing that they modified was the midnight potion, so they literally have a 30-second timer, if not in a refrigerator. So the problem before was that during combat, you could have an unlimited midnight potion, and you can just run around all over the place. And if you feel threatened at any point, you would use the midnight potion, and you would teleport the fuck out, because that's what you would do. And it would just have any effect that you can get away no matter what. It's worse than the running simulator than they made it now. As well as the tar shots. They made the tar shots from actually limiting movement to now behaving the same like orbs. Again, I completely disagree with this, and they should honestly go back to what it was before, because it actually was very viable before to stop people from running all the way across the map, because you have to literally just have a certain spec in order to catch that person, because it doesn't become fun at that point to literally chase somebody to kill them to run across the map. But I digress. When there is the other thing, which is more important to address, which is the pets. So they incorporated into the pet naming system is that you can have unlimited characters in Conan Exiles for any type of pets. So what you can do is you can literally overload the character name, well, the pet name, and it could literally crash full areas of the map because of the name itself, because there's no character limit, there's no anything limit for the string operator that is on the pet system name. So what happens is that, let's say you just spam a shit ton of characters, and it doesn't matter what it is, it can just be a bunch of gibberish. You walk up to an area, and now you are rendering the full name, so it's lagging that area, it's lagging the server. You can deny somebody from using that area, and it crashes the client itself. So in that whole area, and that whole swath, it's just completely terrible. So again, it happens to be one of the worst things that you can possibly do for Conan Exiles right now, and the servers would need to be backrolled, or the names of the pets would need to be reset back to default so that they don't have this issue upon the next update, because of what the severity of this happens. If there is no wipe to official servers, if there is no anything like that because of this character name, a majority of these servers will be unplayable because they renamed the pet, and that pet could be unkillable because whenever you try to walk up to that, it could crash. Full areas of their bases could be gone because, yeah, I want to rename my character. Yeah, alright, so we went from having 10 FPS on PC with our 1080 Ti's to having 2 because of a character name, or you can't even enter because it would always crash. So that's pretty much my main gripe with most of this patch, is that and the claws. The claws, whenever you wield them, that you have to literally take them out and you're stuck in place. Now, as any PvPer knows, if you take out a weapon, you are still moving to a little bit, like you're walking. But it's not as much as when you're going full sprint and then you take out a weapon, because they limited that from before. But if you have to take out a weapon and you're at a complete standstill, it can make the weapon completely worthless unless you dodge roll out of it. So heavy builds cannot use this kind of mechanic, as well as they don't really have something to give a player hyper armor on top of it. So they're really terrible design, especially for heavy combat PvPers, but I could still see it being used because you can actually use this at the same time as running, and you actually use the same amount to less amount of stam with the claws compared to everything else. And I kind of hinted upon this in the other video, but I didn't say much of it because I didn't know the full implementations of the new DLC, because the new DLC actually has a lot of things that are wrong with it, like the heavy strength armor. So everybody wanted to have Hyborian slave armor. So beforehand, the spawn rate for the Hyborian slave armor, it hasn't been confirmed that they changed the value because it was at a random spot, and it literally had a spawn rate chance to spawn Gur the Legbiter for 0.001% chance or something like that. I know Firespark looked at the database and he saw all this from a previous video, but I don't know if they changed that since then with this pet system update. So again, this is something that would need to be further looked upon, because it is something that is available context, because that means the only way that you can possibly feasibly get a heavy strength armor set within a reasonable period of time, again, is getting the DLC. Now, the reason why I always have stressed that the DLC is pay to win is that it requires literally any T4 thrall at any location in order for you to get a strength armor set, which is strength medium, or a vitality medium set, which has been from the second DLC, but now there's a survival set for the third DLC when it comes to a few other things. And now this new DLC, it's just like, alright, so the light armor gives accuracy, the medium armor gives survival, and the heavy armor gives strength. So now we have a light, which is like the Fari, which is the strength armor for like being very cheap about your stuff. Then there's the medium set, which is the shaman armor, but now it's shaman, kitchen, and the vitality one for the Roman looking armor. But now you have a heavy set that is in very easeable and very easy to be in use. So if you have the full pack setup, you have light, you have medium, and you have heavy strength armor, all in one category now. So if you bought all the DLCs, you literally have the quickest way to get strength heavy, strength medium, and strength light with one armor compared to having multiple armors. And it really goes to that extent where it's going to be kind of pay to win still compared to everything else, as well as they nerfed the flawless Aquilonian spears, which I've talked about on the streams that I've had said in the past, as well as now. So now it's the Dragon Spear, which is the new meta, on top of if you're doing a heavy build and you're in close quarters. The two-handed sword can still be impact because the amount of hyper armor that it has compared to other things. Now, if you guys like this kind of content, please like and subscribe down below. I know that I kind of talk back and forth about these things, but some things I find out on my own. Some things I find out from the server that I'm running, because it's Phoenix's server that I'm helping to administrate, which I will link in the description for the Discord if you are still willing to play this game on top of everything else. I help the admin it sometimes, not all the time, but I've seen different times where it's actually been needed to administrate things so it can actually help. There's other times that servers have asked for my help, so if you are helping to run a server and you need to get in contact with me, like, I've always been very open to like helping out other admins, especially in Conan Exiles. And also further news, because this is at the very end of this video, I'm going to be getting Fallout 76. And Fallout 76 is going to be a really nice game. I don't know on how much I'm going to be covering it, but I know I'm going to be wanting it because it's another survival game series type. And based on all the first impressions and then the instant respawn rate from these caricatures that are in Fallout 76, there's going to be a lot of griefing that happens unless they really modify some of the base stuff, because you can literally come back, keep dying, and keep interrupting a quest over and over again. Now, it's not really the most fun to always die and to be interrupted over and over again. And it doesn't look like they dropped anything upon that, so you can literally just spam grief people that are on your server if you keep dying over and over again, especially when you spawn literally right next to the player that just killed you. It's kind of funny that they did not implement that kind of stuff in. It's just like, oh god, this is gonna happen. So again, thank you guys for watching this. Have a good one.